James Wan, I think, is the only director that could have pulled this movie off because they had no clue how to market this movie. They're just like, James Wan horror, let's just do that. I went in and I looked at how much money James Wan is responsible for horror world. I think James Wan is, without any competition, he is the king of horror. It's not saying anything about the
Agreed.
quality of his movie or other people's movie, just sheer dollars.
But he also knows what people want, what they like.
He does. He started the Saw franchise, the Insidious franchise, the Conjuring franchise. The only other like big franchises that aren't listed here is like The Purge and Paranormal Activity.
And those are both dead in the water now. Nobody gives a fuck about either of those. I mean, I know they're still pumping out those fucking Purge movies, but enough, okay? We don't care.
Well, and like all of these franchises, James Wan's not involved in them anymore. He's the executive producer. He's just cashing checks.
He's like helping out, but yeah, he's just producing a lot of stuff. He's very busy, you know? And he also made Aquaman money.
Yeah. So I'm saying just the horror world. I
Yeah.
mean, Aquaman, that's a whole other tangent.
He's the king of Warner Brothers, I think, after all of this, if put together. I think we could say he basically like dominates that. He's like their biggest moneymaker.
100%. And I'm going to prove it. Okay. So
I'm ready for it.
James Wan, within those three franchises, the horror world, and this is all the Conjuring spinoffs because he gets credited back to all of them. Okay. He has brought in worldwide over $3.6 billion with a B. $billion.
$billion. That's all I was thinking. But yeah, I mean, it's insane. Holy shit.
That's not even the craziest part. Okay.
It gets crazier.
It does. There's a lot of movies in this list that a lot of people haven't seen. Like all of the spinoffs and stuff, like they're not good.
With it.
The stuff that James Wan is directly involved with, they're great. The budget for all of those movies, so $3.6 billion in revenue. The budget for all of those was $305 million. Warner Brothers, just in gross numbers, has 12x'd their investment in James Wan. Like James Wan has created the most successful money-making machine ever. For comparison, okay?
Marvel.
Yeah. The first Iron Man movie. So here, let's do this. The first Saw was a $1.2 million budget.
Very low budget.
$1 million. The budget of Iron Man was $140 million.
Exactly.
Iron Man grossed almost $600 million. Saw grossed over $100 million. Saw had an 87x return, whereas Iron Man had a 4x return.
Mm-hmm. Because they have to spend so much money on all these fucking movies. That's why they're getting all this. They're like killing those fucking VFX people now. It's horrible. They're not literally murdering them, but they're throwing in too much at them. They're too much because they have to produce so much shit to make up the costs.
Yeah.
Whereas with horror and James Wan, he knows how to use a low budget. He's done it for most of these horror franchises that he started. The first one was pretty low budget, out of all of these ones. And I feel that he's also bringing up cool filmmakers and having them do the spin-offs and guiding them and working with all these new and interesting people in this horror field. And it's just a minefield.
The movies that James Wan was directly involved with, directing or writing, the budget for those, other than the first two Conjuring movies, the budget for those was no more than $5 million.
Yeah.
And they all did over $100 million in box office. The Conjuring was $20 million and $40 million, and those did $300 million at the box office.
Exactly. Yeah. Those are worth the extra budget. By that point, they were like, I think this guy, we could give him a little bit more money. He's clearly paying us back well above what we're paying him. So
this is the entire reason that the horror genre just survives. The horror genre has the most insane ROIs possible. The craziest one of all time, it's not James Wan related, is Paranormal Activity.
Yep.
That movie was made on a $15,000 budget.
Oh, I know.
and it did almost 200 million
Mhm.
in box office. That's a almost 13,000x.
That's why they're still trying to make those fucking movies.
Yeah, that's why there's like 7 of them.
Yeah.
It's
They got
insane.
old real quick, but well, what about Blair Witch was obviously before that and also probably super low budget like that
I
too.
didn't look that one up, but it probably
Yeah.
did really well.
But these ones, it's easy with horror, I feel like, to do a real low budget movie, but make it really if it's well done, it can make a shit ton of fucking money. Literally,
Yes.
superhero movies and horror movies make a ton of money right now.
Yeah.
Still, they
I
always do, I think.
I mean, the first Saw movie was in 2004, and the last one, including Spiral, was 2021.
Oh, yeah.
They've been busting out Saw movies for 20 years, and they're still making a 10x on that franchise.
Yep, they're making a new one going back with, like it's, like, combining I don't know if it's characters from I don't think it's characters at all from The Spiral, but, like, some of the team that worked on that will be also working on a new one, focusing more on the actual guy who played on the actual Jigsaw character again.
God.
But I thought I don't remember what happened with those movies. I went and saw all of them in theaters,
Oh yeah,
but
I've seen them all, and it's insane how bad those movies are, and they're successful. Yeah,
the greatness of the first one keeps you coming back for more because 'cause you're always like, "This is it could be that good." I mean,
yeah,
no doubt it won't be, but, like, you
it's
have that
nuts.
hope. He's great at starting these things.
Like all this to say, Malignant is the most unsuccessful movie that James Wan has made in terms
Yeah,
of box office. It also happened during the coronavirus, so theaters shut down. So like it did like 34 million.
on a 40 million budget, right?
This movie, like just looking at it, it's almost like James Wan, like he was owed this movie. The movie he wanted to use, like, I've made you guys so much money. Just
Mhm.
fucking give me this. Let me do it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We out here.